What's good? It's your boy Fannon. All right, man, I'm going to talk about this Luis Ortiz, Anthony Joshua stuff. And I reread, I think I saw the title of Blue Blood Sports TV's article, video that talked about a counteroffer coming for Luis Ortiz. And then I went back and I looked at the Boxing Scene article and I saw that it said that Hearn was expected to do a counteroffer to Luis Ortiz before naming the replacement for Anthony Joshua. And so once I heard that, I'm like, okay, so people need to get off Luis Ortiz's back for the time being, because he did what he's supposed to do. If he's getting a counteroffer, then he did exactly what he was supposed to do by turning down that first offer. And that is just negotiations 101. And we'll see what happens. Personally, I don't think Anthony Joshua and those guys want that fight. But if it turns out that that fight takes place between Luis Ortiz and Anthony Joshua, which I doubt, then Luis Ortiz did exactly what he's supposed to do at this point in the negotiations, from what I know. So let me get into that in a second, though. But before that, I want to welcome you back to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos and when we do our live streams. And also to the long-time subscribers, definitely check out the Patreon. We got a really good series that we got going on over there. We're going to be uploading something today. Now, please go back and review in your mind's eye all of the conversations we've had about Eddie Hearn and offers related to Deontay Wilder. And notice a trend. Eddie Hearn with Deontay Wilder and with Joseph Parker always started with low offers. In fact, Eddie Hearn has actually said, I do believe, and this is me recalling this, talking about, that was the starting point. We said something, we offered them something. Of course, that's the starting point of negotiations. I do believe he said that in regards to the last offer that he had made for Deontay Wilder, someone around, I think it was a 12.5 million that went to 15 million, where they were trying to get Deontay, where they acting like they were trying to get a Deontay Wilder fight. I'm still not fully convinced, but I'm still going just with the conversations that were taking place. So you see that he started originally. So take example with Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker originally said that he wasn't turned down an offer for the fight with Anthony Joshua. And eventually Eddie Hearn offered him, I believe, 60-40, but that was the second offer. It wasn't the first. Eddie Hearn didn't start off where they wound up. He started off lower than where they wound up. And then the fight was made. Same thing with Deontay Wilder and the offers, the public offers that were made between Eddie Hearn and Deontay Wilder for Dillian Whyte. I think it went from, they offered Dillian Whyte, like, we'll give you $3.5 million for Dillian Whyte. It's the biggest payday you ever had, the rigmarole. And then Deontay Wilder was not interested, and because he wants the Anthony Joshua fight, then the offers moved to $5 million, right? So if Deontay Wilder had taken that second Dillian Whyte offer, then the purse, if you believe everything is true and straight up, and I have no doubt in my mind that Eddie Hearn would have made the Dillian Whyte fight. That I buy into. That was a $1.5 million increase just by turning down the first offer to Deontay Wilder and moving on. So then Deontay Wilder doesn't take that fight. Dillian Whyte doesn't take the Luis Ortiz mandated fight by the WBA, by the WBC, or Deontay Wilder's offer to fight Dillian Whyte as a voluntary if he beats Luis Ortiz. So then Dillian Whyte goes off and goes off and fights. I do believe that was Derek Chisora he wound up fighting, or he wound up fighting, Joseph Parker. So then the conversation shifted to Deontay Wilder, the offer for Deontay Wilder being a flat fee, right? That's when all this flat fee stuff started going on with Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. It was started at 12.5. Then it moved to 15. Deontay Wilder said, okay, I'll take the 15. But then the WBA, according to Eddie Hearn, jumps in and says, no, you can't. You have to make the Alexander Povetkin fight in 24 hours. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, they make the Alexander Povetkin fight. Deontay Wilder fights somebody else. But you see right there, that was an increase in an offer from $12.5 million to $5 million. Okay, that is now, at this point, I think you see the pattern. So Eddie Hearn says something to I guess it's Jay Jimenez or Team Luis Ortiz's team, and they say, I'm going to give you X amount of money, whatever that X is. Whatever it is. I'm not even looking at the numbers from this because honestly, I don't believe that they really want to make that fight, but that's just me on the outside looking in. And if you take people at Eddie Hearn at his word, which I don't advise doing, let's just go with it. They offered him $2 million, whatever the offer was, whatever they said, $5 million. And then Luis Ortiz says, no, we want X. We want $10 million. We want more than you offered Jarrell Big Baby Miller because we're a better opponent than Jarrell Big Baby Miller. We have better name, whatever their reasoning is for saying that, which honestly, man, if you just straight up with it and you're from the United States, you know that Luis Ortiz is Anthony Joshua's best option for that fight in New York. That is the guy that would get people interested in seeing that fight. It's not going to be Michael Hunter. It's not going to be, it's not even going to be Dillian White. People wouldn't even be particularly excited about Dillian White. But Luis Ortiz, if that's what they believe and they say, look, no, I want at least what you're giving Jarrell Big Baby Miller and a little bit more. I don't want to fight for, $6 million or even $3 million less than Dillian White. Then you would have offered pay Jarrell Miller, right? And then they say, look, man, that's ridiculous. We going back and forth. But look, I'm going to make a counteroffer. Well, guess what? That counteroffer is going to be more than likely for more money than the initial offer. So if Luis Ortiz then says, you know what, that's what I can get, I'll take it. And Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua are serious about making the fight, then Luis Ortiz did what he's supposed to do. Especially considering the trends in the negotiations that we all know about. I can only assume that since I remember all this stuff, that Luis Ortiz and his team are aware of this stuff, aware of the trend to start at a low point and then eventually move up, because that's how a lot of people negotiate. That's a standard way that people negotiate. You say, here, I want to know how much am I willing to pay? Well, I'm willing to pay $1,000 for this. Okay, that's what I'm willing to pay. So, but I'm going to give you an offer first. How about $250? And the guy says, oh no, I want $1,500 for this. No, and you start going back and forth or whatever. Whether you win, what the successful negotiation for the guy that offered $250 is whether or not he can get it for $1,000 or less. Right? Because that's what he's willing to pay. That's what he knows. That's his maximum he's paying. And his job is to get, as a negotiator, is to try to get the money he pays as far away from $1,000 as he can get. And that's why you hire managers. Now, here's the thing. People ask me, like, well, why do you need Al Heyman if you have a manager? Why do you need the manager, if you got a promoter? That is one of the key jobs of the manager, because the manager actually has to negotiate with the promoter in a lot of instances to make sure that the promoter, because the promoter is going to get paid on the card. So and that's why you have a conflict of interest when somebody's both the manager and the promoter. There's nothing wrong with Jay Jimenez and Luis Ortiz negotiating for more money. Even now, if it winds up being that they say, no, I'm not going off this, and they have to either say, okay, well, negotiation's over, I take it or I don't take it, right? That's a fair thing, right? I don't think, but just looking at it and saying it, man, Luis Ortiz is stupid because he turned down the first offer that he got. That's actually, at this point, shows that he made a smart decision, regardless of what happens further. if he turned down the first offer and he got a second one, and then if he turned down the second one and got a third one, if he, the case is, hey man, either if he doesn't want the fight, he doesn't want the fight, and he could just come out and say he doesn't want the fight. But if he does want the fight, then what he did was an intelligent move. So anyway, it is what it is. That's my take on it. We'll see what's happening. But with that, I'm out. Peace.